Hello, everybody. Welcome to Module 8. I can't believe we are about done. This is our last module in our course, and I just want to let you guys know that you have done a phenomenal job. I've seen so much growth from the beginning of the semester to this semester in your lesson plans and the strategies that you've done this semester. So I'm just super, super proud of all of you. Today, I wanted to go over some things about comprehension. This is our last aspect of reading that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started here. So the first thing I want to remind you of is something that we talked at the beginning of the year. So if you remember at the beginning of the year, we looked at Scarborough's reading rope, and here's a picture of it. Here we have Scarborough's reading rope. And so what we've done this semester is we have talked about all these different things. We've talked about phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, decoding, which is phonics. We've talked about sight words, right? That's a part of the foundational core, the foundational part of reading that you need. We've talked about things like background knowledge when we went over oral language. We've certainly talked about vocabulary. We talked about language and verbal structures whenever we talked about oral language and literacy knowledge. We're going to get to a little bit of that when we talk about comprehension. Then we've talked about fluency. Fluency's right here. And right here. So fluency's right here. As you become increasingly automatic, you become more fluent. And as you comprehend, you become increasingly strategic. So I just wanted to show you this to understand how the class was developed. This is what research shows the science of reading, how kids learn to read. We showed that at the beginning of the course. Now we deconstructed all of those components, and you've looked at each of those. And so today, or this week, Module 8, we're looking at that last piece of the puzzle, and that's comprehension, which is really that glue that ties it all together. Because if you don't comprehend, you're not reading, you're just a word caller. So we want our students to be increasingly strategic in their reading. So how do we accomplish that? Let's look at what we're going to be doing today, this week. So this week in your module, I'm going to go to your class and talk about what you're going to be doing this week. So we are in Module 8, Comprehension. So, of course, as always, you have some things that you need to read for comprehension. Take a minute to load. There is a PowerPoint. Sorry, that's on the supplemental part. You have some reading here to do. This is a lot of reading. Where it says teaching reading source book, that's going to be more of just scanning that information. But you need to read this part. So quite a bit of reading, but I would say really what I want you to stick with is the multisensory teaching of basic language skills. This part is more you're going to read for the strategies. So that's just kind of scanning that part. The watching part, there is a video on text complexity that you need to watch. That's going to be really important. And text structure. That's going to be really important because I'm almost certain there is a exam question. I actually know there is about text complexity and text structures. You need to know those text structures and you need to know about text complexity. So it's going to be really important that you watch those videos. So I'm going to move on to what you're going to be doing this week. So there's 2 assignments on your last week. The first one is you have a read, connect, and respond. And so the read, connect, and respond is you are going to go to this link. It says achieve the core text complexity, because one of the things you need to look at is when we look at comprehension, we have to try to fit kids with the right level of book. But text complexity goes beyond just a Lexile level. So what you're going to do is you're going to download this link. You're going to go to this link, and then it's going to say analysis for text complexity. And all of this is in the directions. You're going to pick one children's book to analyze. So in this case, let's say that I'm going to do a 2nd through 12th grade book. I'm going to download the file. So I can see here's my download up here. So I'm going to download that file. And I am not seeing it on the screen, so I'm going to try again, and I'm going to share this again so you guys can see it. Okay, here we go. So you guys can see the what you'll be doing. Okay, so you'll download this and you're going to fill this out. You'll take the book, whatever book it is that you're going to choose. And the first thing you're going to find out is the Lexile score. To find the Lexile score, you will go to this link and go here. And I cannot show you because if I show you, it won't show the screen. You'll go to that link and you'll type in the book and it'll give you a number, a Lexile score. You're going to type in that Lexile score and that'll give you a grade band. So grade 2 through 2nd graders through 3rd grade, their Lexile band is about 420 to 820 and so forth. Then you're going to consider the qualitative features of the book. So those are features like meaning and purpose, structure, language, knowledge demands. For example, a book like Tale of Two Cities, that's going to have a lot of knowledge demands because of the historical aspect. It has a lot of language demands in it. So you would have to go here. Again, you can go to the link here and you can look at what this means and you're going to fill that in. Then it has reader and task. What will challenge my students most in this text? What supports can I offer? So reader and task considerations. Most of my career has been on a military base. Just give you an example. So if my students had to read a book related to an osprey, most of you would think about the bird, the osprey. My students would think about osprey, the helicopter. And so reader and task. My students have a lot of background information about the military, about vehicles, and so forth. And so reader and task, they could do that. That wouldn't be a challenge for them. But for other students, that would be a challenge. So for your read, connect, and respond, you're going to complete this paper. And then you're going to write about, respond, download the appropriate form on the discussion board, and then you're going to explain on your discussion board the grade placement. You're going to say, I think this book is about a 2nd grade, a 3rd grade, 4th grade, and why, based on those text features. Okay? The other thing that you're going to do is, for this week, is you have a final exam. So your final exam is due October 17th at 11:59 p.m. At that time, it'll be turned off. Okay. So you won't be able to, there's only one attempt to this. You won't be able to go back. So you need to make sure that you do it by that point. It will be open the entire week. So you can take it earlier than that. I sent out an email that we were going to have a study session, and I did it the Wednesday before, and that was just because I tried to do it a couple days before the exam was due, and so I actually did that for the 11th, which is actually tomorrow. So we're going to do that tomorrow, and that way, if you guys want to go ahead and get started on the exam, studying it, you can. I know that may not work for everybody, but I just was trying to do it early. I can do another study session if you want to. Let me know and I can schedule one individually with you. Just email me and I can do that. Okay, so a couple things I want to talk to you about again for this week. I want to make sure that you review a couple of things. So remember, this week we're talking about comprehension. So when you think about comprehension, just a few things to think about. Meaning is not in the words on the page, the reader constructs meaning. So I want you to think about in your classroom, what's that constructing of meaning going to look like? And so comprehension is the student constructing meaning. And researchers believe that information is stored in what they call knowledge structures. And so the essence of learning is linking new information to prior knowledge. And so that's why it's always important to talk to our kids about prior knowledge and linking the new information to what they already know. So we know that good readers, in order to have good comprehension, need to be purposeful, active, strategic, and flexible. So these are strategies that you have to teach your kids when it comes to comprehension. So here's just a chart. And again, this is under resources, the difference between poor readers and successful readers. But one thing that is really important, and this goes to resiliency theory, is that poor readers often see how they do on tests or how they do in reading as a result of luck or teacher bias, where successful readers know that it's a result of hard work and efficient thinking. And so one thing that you need to do as a teacher is to go over the fact that with your students, that how they do on a test is a result of their hard work and their efficient skills when it comes to comprehension. So just remember that you are going to do comprehension strategies before reading, during reading, and after reading. So some of the before reading strategies could be previewing a text, building background knowledge, setting a purpose for reading. During reading, kids should be checking for understanding. They should be monitoring their comprehension, and they should be integrating new knowledge, new concepts. And then after they read something, you should do comprehension strategies where they're summarizing, evaluating, and making applications. Something that's really important to remember is that comprehension, you should not just assess comprehension. You should teach kids strategies for comprehending. So checking for comprehension, monitoring, integrating new ideas, building background knowledge, those are all ways that you can teach comprehension. And so as your textbook had a lot of strategies for comprehension in it. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of this because don't want this video to be too long, but just go through and make sure you know all the different text structures. Now, with a narrative book has the same text structure. Narrative books have a character, a setting, a plot, and solution. It's the same text structure. However, informational books have different text structures. They have these different kinds of text structures: description, sequence, compare and contrast, cause and effect, problem and solution, and chronological. You need to teach your students these text structures because that's going to help them with writing and it's going to help them with their comprehension. So a sentence like this: a noun is a word that represents a person, place, thing, or idea, while verbs describe action. That is a compare and contrast sentence, right? But that's an example of a text structure. So I think it might be a good idea if you would go through the PowerPoint, make sure you know the different text structures, because that's going to help kids with comprehension. The other thing I would suggest is Uh, make sure that you go through and watch the video about text complexity. That's going to be pretty important. So again, we'll meet tomorrow night and we will study for the final exam. Um, and if you want to do another study session, I can do that. Um, I think that's all I have for today. You guys are doing a great job. If you have any questions, please email me, let me know. But have a great day.